Hola, cage fighting connoisseurs. This is Kid Native Bloody Elbow, joined for the last time, sadly, by Dallas Winston. Dallas
Dallas,
Robinson.
let me tell you about that guy. I can't handle it. I can't handle it. I do partings poorly.
Yeah, we all do. I usually do them with bitter recriminations and bridge burning, but you
Actually,
know.
I don't do badly with them at all. In 30 seconds, it'll be Dallas. Who's that?
Glad my legacy can live on for
Yeah,
30 seconds.
we will miss Chewy though.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got a lot of
Chewy.
heartfelt, like,
Well,
Dallas,
since Dallas intends to take him to his new job, which means it'll last about a week.
smiley
Mr.
possum.
Winston, you have a large. Well, what's your fucking problem?
People don't like Wookiees in corporate America, Dallas. You're gonna learn that. You're gonna learn that. But we're here to talk about the fall of Jon Jones, former UFC champion as of last night, and Mayweather Pacquiao, the biggest
Yep.
combat sports event of our generation. Well, of our decade, maybe.
Of your generation,
Of
maybe.
your, I mean, Eugene obviously has been here for everything since what? Jake LaMotta?
Yeah, Rocky Marciano.
Undefeated, baby. Undefeated. You should hear Eugene going on about Rocky Marciano and how he could beat everybody today.
Now
It's
that guy, that was a man. That was a man's man.
My favorite old
uh
school boxer.
Yeah, so where do we feel? Where do we come down on Jon Jones being stripped and suspended? Who wants this first? Eugene?
It's Dallas's last show. I'll let him jump in there, even though it takes everything on earth to get me to not go first. Go ahead.
Well, don't worry, I'll respond in typical fashion. I mean, he's just stupid at this point. You know, that's all.
Jones is just
Yep.
stupid. So you agree with the decision to strip him of the title?
Not only do I agree,
You're jumping on
I believe.
Dallas now.
No,
This
it's
was
okay.
Oh
Dallas's
shit! Oh,
question.
you're right. Okay. Okay.
Do I agree? Yeah, I mean, because he's so high profile, and like how he made it so much worse. Like I've done a lot of bad shit, but I've talked my way, or you can make the best of a bad situation. Like once the jig is up, you gotta, like that's when you let down your guard. Like when you crash into a pregnant lady, that's when you're like, oh, man, I'm sorry, ma'am, are you okay? You don't grab your cash and beat it. It's not like no one's gonna recognize
And
it.
leave the pot pipe. Like, how stoned must he
Yeah,
have been to grab the cash and not even, like, to flee and then come back for the cash and still leave the pot pipe and the paperwork in the
No, no,
car?
no, no, no. You see, I was talking about today at training, and guys go, man, this is what's wrong with combat sports now. You were talking essentially about how to beat a pregnant lady out, and I said, look, what you do, what did I tell you? You got to come to Eugene. What you do is you get out of the car, you take your cell phone, smash it on the ground, you take the cash in the pipe, you wander off. Later they say you fled the accident. You go, I hit my head, I was disoriented, my phone didn't work, I went to find a payphone. I was on the phone when I crashed. That's how my friend knew where to pick me up and take me home, and I don't remember anything after that. You might have the small thing of the pregnant woman going, "Oh my God, help me," as you walk on by. But this was, if you had your wits about you, this was workable.
The
I'm
morally
like the,
bankrupt
I am like the
counsel.
wolf, the fixer. This is what a
What he
smart
should
guy
have
in
done in
trouble
that
would have done.
situation, he was pretty fucked at the point he crashed the car, I think. I don't know what he could have done. But fleeing the scene escalates it from misdemeanor to felony
Well, first, no, no, no,
with
no.
quickness.
First of all, the test for weed. If they tested him 12 hours later, 14 hours later, 16 hours, they're still going to find cannabinoids in his system because
Yeah.
it stays in the system for a long time, right?
Yeah, you're
So,
not flushing the pot out. But it's hard to prove impaired that you were impaired from pot.
right, correct. So what you do is you stay, you fake it. I'm having a heart attack. I'm having a seizure. Anything to delay a drug test for at least 12 hours.
It's not even the drug test, it's the sobriety test. Like, you want to avoid doing the walk the straight
They're
line, touch
not
the
giving you a
nose thing.
sobriety test if you're on the ground having a seizure.
Exact. Or if you're just saying, man, I think I got hurt in the wreck, I need an ambulance.
Yep.
Like, but this is all chicken shit advice, Eugene. Like,
yeah.
he,
Does it matter? They found a loaded pot pipe, so pretty much the marijuana thing. There's a big
it,
check in that
and he ran
box.
the red light. It's going to be a DWI, but fleeing the scene is worse than the DWI, as Wanderlei Silva could tell you, perhaps.
Or Halle Berry.
Yes. What's the Holly Berry story? I'm so celebrity ignorant, I don't even know.
Oh, when I interviewed her, it was part of a charm offensive because she had gotten into an accident and left the scene of the accident. And she used the "I'm disoriented" take. I was scared, didn't know what was going on. I wanted to go somewhere to get help. I'm a celebrity. People were gathering around the vehicle. I panicked. And she got off.
That's a pretty good, and so that's the basis of your advice to Jon Jones.
Correct.
Hard bitten experience. Okay, so once Jones has screwed up, everybody agrees the UFC had to cut him, had to
Had
strip him of the
to. No,
title.
no, 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 no. Not had to, wanted to, and should have.
I
You know?
see. I
You,
see.
you remember you remember when Tyson bit Holyfield's ear?
Yes. Who could
Okay.
forget?
The first
That was the
time the
biggest
ref
sporting event in my generation. Anyway.
right, the first time it happened, the ref said, "Do that again and you're finished." And he does it again. Which in other words, Mike Tyson was looking for the exit. Jon Jones dodges a bullet with the cocaine thing out of testing, the 24-hour drive-through, Eugene Robinson's drive-through rehab, gets out with that whole anybody worth their fucking beans realizes, you know what? I dodged a bullet here. I'm playing it straight and narrow. I'm getting Uber, some guy to fucking drive me hither and yon. I can get as high as I want in the back of the Uber car. And you just get to the fight. Get to May fucking 23rd, less than a month away. Just get there. But no, where the fuck was he going? And also, if you smoke weed, how about this? If I'm going to smoke weed and I'm going to smoke weed with a friend, I would assume that my friend has the weed and the thing to smoke it with, right? Or I'm at home with the thing to smoke it with and the weed, and I tell my friend to come over. What the fuck is wrong with you that you got to take the weed in the car on the way to your friend's house?
And then
Eugene,
forget about it.
have you driven the streets of Albuquerque? They're beautiful. The vistas there.
Then
There's
you
nothing
walk.
like getting
Then you
high and
walk.
driving around Albuquerque.
Smoke weed as you walk. You can commune with nature. Look. There was a football player who got busted watching porn, driving in his car, a little screen, is watching porn. It's like, I guess he couldn't watch porn where he was or where he was going. The 6 minutes between, he had to watch.
Jesus.
What kind of fucking problem do you have if that's the
Yeah,
case?
that's fucking hardcore.
Yeah,
I gotta make some toast. Let me set up a monitor first.
right. Your windows are not tinted enough that you can't. The family next to you is, hey, look what that man's watching, Ma. Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, it's
So what he was wanting a nap. Jon Jones, all these guys at the top, whatever it is, we don't know what it is. Whatever it is at the top, they needed a nap. GSP needed a nap. Anderson Silva needed a nap. These guys need naps. The pressure's too much, and they're gonna get it, and he should.
Yeah, he definitely got it. I was pretty surprised at the bloody elbow panel in our roundtable discussion yesterday. Virtually unanimously, no, they don't need to strip him of anything, and this is fine. This is no big deal. This is a fender bender. And I was just like,
No. But you know why those guys are saying that? Because they're looking at the historical record. They're looking at Rampage. Somebody here said today, they said Rampage also smashed into a pregnant woman, right?
but he didn't get charged with a felony.
Yeah, and he didn't get charged with a felony. He smashed into a pregnant woman. So it's like, oh,
And he didn't flee the scene.
Hey, look, Adrian Peterson was almost facing jail time for switching his kid. If you grew up around Southerners, they do that shit all the time. They're switching his kid. He's looking at jail time. The rules have fucking changed, People are tired of it. It might have something to do with Obama. Who knows, But uppityness and malfeasance is being punished severely. You got to know that. And also, this is the best thing for the division, man. You had this guy like a poisoned toad sitting on the top of the division. It's completely fucking calcified. People fighting for scrubs. Now we got some great fights. We got DC against Rumble. Unfortunately, if Rumble loses, then when Jones is okay to fight in 6 months, you have a depleted Rumble fight in Jones. I mean,
and Rumble, I think, had a real chance to beat Jones. I don't think he has a good chance against Cormier. Yep. And here we are,
Well, before he actually got arrested, all right, man. Before he actually got arrested, I made the claim that this was possibly a troll, just to like he did with Gustafsson, just to back him off a bit. I do this fight on my time, not your time. But now that he's been arrested, I was like, nah, dude needed a rest. He needed a nap, and he's going to get his fucking nap. And if I'm the Fertitas and the bald one, I'm like, fuck you. I've been wanting to say fuck you since UFC 151. Now here's a fuck you, How much money have you cost me? Fuck you.
Yep, yep. Dallas, you talk. You've been listening. You've been laughing.
Dallas, forget about that guy. I mean,
What I can't get over is think about if this was not even offended, but let's say it was just an accident. Like, who gives a shit? Like, whoops, Jon Jones. Like, no one would think he's
Is
like,
he okay?
yeah,
You
like
know?
that should be the end of the story. But and how dumb are you that it could have been so he could have been driving down the beautiful streets of, well, what is it,
Albuquerque.
Albuquerque, getting high, crash, just so I go over to the side, I need to clear my head, and you just sit down and you bury that pot bowl in the bark or in the dirt, or and you're good. Then all
Yeah,
you've done is you've gotten an accident. Whoops, it happens all the time. That should be
yeah.
the end of the story, but that's just the beginning of this big, you
but
know.
you know what? There was a guy when I used to train at House. There was a guy, Cameron Earl. I don't know if you know him. He was
Oh
a
yeah, I know
hot
about.
shot. He's now in prison for 25 years to life.
He
And
is an evil scumbag.
evil scumbag. But before then, he had been he had been eating across the street from Hal's place at a restaurant. Drunk guy comes in, terrorizing the whole restaurant. Fuck you, fuck you. He eats his meal. Then finally he says to the guy, "Shut the fuck up." You know, knowing that this is going to go a certain way. The guy goes, "I'll kick your fucking ass." Jumps the guy, chokes the guy out. Right? You, me, anybody with an ounce of sense at that point, says, "Call the cops. Get this guy out of here." What does Cameron Earl do? Flees. All right? He wasn't guilty before he fled. Then people start to think, why'd he run if he wasn't guilty? And in the process, drops his cell phone and his wallet.
It's fortunate that Cameron Earl was not a more gifted criminal, because given his predilection for Christmas Eve raping, you know.
He actually almost beat that charge. Had it not been for a day of release DNA cross-check, he would have walked.
Well, it's a good thing he didn't, because dude's a scumbag. But
Your load can be your enemy. How's that for your day's wisdom? Man, I can't believe I just said that.
that
This
is
day
an
one still
that is an ugly word. Yeah.
No,
Anyway,
loads.
load.
We're starting an organization called Corporate Load. It's like a team building thing, largely.
Can I design the logo?
We're working on the logo, and then we're gonna branch out we're gonna have this thing called Jizz Coin. It'll be great. A new currency.
That went too far. That went too far. We're back to
Sorry.
Jones and the UFC. So you're saying they wanted to, going back to UFC 151. He has not been a team player. That he's looking out for Jon Jones.
Well, I say like Don King and Bob Arum. You can't leave the keys with a fighter. You just can't do it. And he's proven that. All he had to do was hold it down to May 23rd. You can't leave the franchise in the hands of an unreliable element, and most fighters, 99% of them, are unreliable elements. Because if you're not an unreliable element, you don't do shit like this. So as far as you justified every paranoid concern the bald guy had, you justified it.
How much is Jones worth? Any
What do you
idea?
think you mean net worth?
Yeah.
It depends how he's invested his money. My bet is he's pissed it away rather than investing it. But
Well, he was driving a rental, so that's better than owning a Rolls Royce. But you know what?
which he did before.
I'm glad. I'm glad that for the next 6 months he'll be sitting around at his gym, like, if he's lucky at his gym, like, hey guys, hey, what's happening? Yeah, hey John, how you doing? No, hey, you guys, you want to go out do something? No, John, we're training. We got a fight coming up. Oh, yeah, I used to do that. Yeah. I mean, that's it for 6 months or a year.
You think he'll be humbled?
Man, the public shaming doesn't work on a guy like me, but on Jon Jones, you think he's going to be sitting cage side at the fights now? No. He's fucking persona non grata, man. He's scarlet lettered out of it. They don't want to see him. They don't want to know him for shit. Go home, relax, work this shit out, and when you have a renewed fire to fight, we'll be glad to see you. Until then, fuck off.
Dallas, what do you think?
Yeah, because that's about when people will be interested to see him again too.
Yep.
Once he takes that time off and gets out of the spotlight, and on a real, I don't mean to sound after school special, but think about the position he's in. I mean, whatever Reebok.
No earning power.
What's
He
that?
lost his no earning power.
Yeah, I mean, he was
He's
like in
lost
the.
his Reebok sponsorship. You know, he's not the champ anymore. He's not going to be the hangers-on are going to be clearing out,
No, well, maybe
or
he's
he'll
got a
get a
taste
new
of what
level
life
of
is like
real
with
scumbag hanger-ons.
yeah, well, the real scumbags now hang around. The Kato Kalins, those guys are.
Hey, yeah, that sounded libelous to me. That the
Well, are you saying that to call Kato Kalin a scumbag? I didn't mean, with all due respect, scumbag is not always a pejorative.
well, sometimes it's a useful birth control, but
There you go. Something
but
that holds a lot of semen.
Kato, to my
Speaking of
knowledge,
semen,
to my knowledge, Kato paid his rent. Did you step in something in the shower there at Doral Gym, or
yes, it's called LSD.
I see that hippie came up and hit you with something, and I
Yeah.
think it was the dose. I don't even know what we're talking about. Okay, Jon Jones, Reebok scholarship. The thing I've always heard about Jon Jones is that he's a selfish training partner. He hurts his training partners. He's got a bunch of ass kissers around him. He's reputed to be not a very good husband, etc. I don't even know if he's married, but baby daddy, whatever he is. And I've always been puzzled by this because this is a guy with two big brothers who I believe can kick his ass. Like, how does this kid not have anybody who can say, attention, dumbass, you're fucking up, quit it? Like, where's his support structure?
Well, and to me, that's the story of this whole thing because you're lucky to be a UFC champion, even if it's a fluke type thing. Just to say for a fight, I was the UFC champion. But now you have one of the most dominant of all time. You have, I still think, one of the most creative and innovative of all time. Uh,
Genius level fight IQ and
in
incredible
crazy
talent.
proportions, the perfect body, the perfect physique. I don't know how you can't be that long and get that much leverage. You know what I mean? Usually, if you're long and lanky, you suffer a serious strength disadvantage. Marketable, he's a decent looking guy. I mean, he had everything right there. And the fact that he squandered it, that's what little kids, it doesn't matter. If you're out in the driveway shooting hoops, you're thinking one day, not only, first it's I want to make the last second 3-pointer in high school and that cheerleader's going to, you know, but for him to achieve
That
like
Cheerleader's
cheerleader's
going to
gonna what
purchase some
again?
jizz points.
I purposely, it's family show. I cut off right there, or I assume Eugene will fill in the blanks in just a minute. But we've all been there. But the fact that he was so unique and in so many different ways, and he had that right there, and he squandered it. Like the American people hate that, and rightfully so. You're so fortunate to get in that position, and to piss it away and to be like a prick about it at the same time is no bueno.
But you know what? You know what? This is where the real Jon Jones story starts. This is really where the real Jon Jones story, because there's nothing that he could have done to make people love him more except fuck up. Because America fundamentally hates winners, and now he's everything but. So now he's got like every guy who's been stopped for a DUI, every guy who's had a need to smoke weed the 6 miles from where he's going to where he needs to be. These guys are like, you know what? Because now he's one of us.
Provided
So,
he's willing to crawl on his belly and come out with all his dirty details and humiliate himself. Like if you're Bruce Jenner, as long as you're walking around in a dress now and then and nobody knows what's going on, it's open season. Everybody mocks you, everybody makes fun of you. Once you come on TV and cut your guts out in front of everybody, then everybody's like, "Oh, what a brave person! Yay, we
That
love him."
transparency.
no. I actually disagree. I think if Jon Jones goes to jail, actually does some time for a month, 3 weeks, 2 months, however long, even house arrest for a month, man, people would be plenty forgiving. I don't need to hear details beyond that. Yeah, I mean, I know if the guy is on ice, he's being subjected to, drug test on top of drug test. At the very least, if he's in jail, well, there are lots of drugs in jail. You got plenty who are glad to say that you're on drugs, So if it cuts some time off their sentence. So I think that if but the thing is, he's finally in a position where he can't fake the funk. Contrition has got to be real. Talent's not going to get you out of a 2-month jail sentence, man, and it's not going to get you back into the game. I mean, he blew his best bargaining chip. What leg does he have to stand on in negotiating with the UFC now? None. you fucked yourself.
Yeah,
You know,
'cause
it's like
talent
breaking your
doesn't
leg
matter
and then
at this
doing a
point.
fight.
Talent
Huh?
doesn't matter at this point. He's been riding on his talent
Yep.
the whole time and squandering everything else. Now he's
Yep.
only left with his talent, and no one gives, no one. It's the least. It's the least lucrative of all of the cards in his hand.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Least
So
well advised. I mean, yeah. And his lawyer is fucking terrible.
his lawyer's
Did you
not
see
even a criminal
that?
defense attorney. His lawyer appears to be some kind of, corporate law dude. Like I was looking at this guy's
Not
background and being,
Saul.
I mean, yeah, he didn't. He needs to call Saul because this is not who you need in a criminal defense case. Like,
Yeah.
hopefully he's going to lawyer up with better attorneys. But
And
I don't
was
know.
that Malky next to him? I couldn't see really.
I couldn't tell if that was Malky either, but I was very curious. Did you see any of this, Dallas?
Mm-mm.
I didn't see Malky in any of the pictures I saw or the videos, but I don't have the keenest eye for Malky. But I mean, again, this is not a guy who's hired the very best in the business. No aspersions on who he has hired. I'm just saying there are MMA managers and there are MMA managers, and Jones did not have the best MMA managers going. And
I
so,
don't know. I mean, I found Malky to be quite personable, but you know what? Just because a guy can drive an SUV doesn't make him a manager, you know?
well, he could have used a driver on Saturday, I do
Yeah.
believe. You
And
know,
to be honest, like I'm sure Malky doesn't care what the general populace feels. It's the fighters he's working with, and a lot of them still, they don't have any qualms about him. So he's probably one of those guys that takes care of who he's supposed to and fuck everybody else. It's not the
Yeah.
greatest from a PR perspective, but I understand it from a human POV.
yeah, I mean, I definitely think Malky's skill is in getting into his fighters' ears, and so there's something to be said for that. Not a skill I've got, but all right, so let's
But then you go.
segue.
You got this whole. You got
Go
this whole
ahead.
the hashtag can't tell me shit. You know, I mean, it's like, you know, I really do think this was a fundamental cry for help because you can't have thought this was going to go any other way. So,
Well, who knows? I mean, he could have just been tootling around, average, Saturday night in Albuquerque, hitting the pipe, sometimes these things happen, and if you look into the backstory, it's this big downward spiral. And it sounds like the incident was a fluke, but anybody who knew the person knew, well, something bad was coming his way because he's been looking for it under every rock.
yep.
But sometimes people are just tootling along, and things are actually looking better. He's turned it around, I mean, and maybe just
I
let
didn't
his
get that.
guard
I
down.
didn't get that. I didn't get that sense, man. I didn't get the sense.
No.
You know
The
what?
incident
You go.
itself,
You go through 24-hour rehab,
perhaps.
huh?
Go ahead.
The incident itself, perhaps, but the way he reacted to it is indicative of a downward spiral because he went
Yeah.
and fucked it up 10 times worse.
Yep.
Yeah, what was he doing in a rental car with pot and a bunch of cash in the first place? Like, and by himself? Like,
Yep.
Go
Well,
ahead, you.
but I mean, but you can. The signs are there. Okay, go through the 24-hour drive-through rehab. That's fine. Don't show up at the fucking fight the next day. You know, you got this Madonna-esque compulsion to be seen. You could have watched that fight on pay-per-view like the rest of us. Stay home. You know.
Yeah, it was, Anyway, a lot of troubles. But let's segue here to what was supposed to be the story of the week. Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, even non-boxing fans like ourselves have been howling for this fight for 5 years. It's finally here, and we're all talking about Jon Jones and his fuck-ups. What about Floyd Mayweather and his many fuck-ups? Like, Mayweather did jail time and postponed his sentencing to actually get in one more fight. Like, if this was the boxing world, Jones would be fighting on May
Well, but
23rd.
the brand differentiator, the bald guy has been able to say, and I think may have actually said at one point or another, this is not like boxing. We're not full of, our staff is not full of felons. Whether that's true or not, Jeremy Jackson, I could go down the list of actually known felons in the UFC.
Just name Jeremy Jackson, Jeremy Stevens. I mean,
Yep.
well, Stevens got acquitted, but
Right,
this was a
right.
guy who was under indictment, arrested at the weigh-ins for a fight, and Dana White was ready to let the cat fight. Now, what's the
But
difference?
you can't. You can't. I mean, yes, benefits accrue at the top of the food chain, but there are also heavy responsibilities. You can't let the signature face of the fucking organization. And if anything had been slightly different, if it had been a teenage girl, then there's always a plausible. Well, teenagers drive like crazy. If it had been another dude, But the PR disaster of a pregnant woman with a fucking broken arm who subsequently left in the car, fuck no. You got to go, man. You got to go. You got to go.
Yeah, I agree. All right.
And I'm the guy's biggest supporter, and I'm just like at this point, fucked up, Jack. If he said it once when Anderson Silva got taken out. He goes, "You got to respect the game, and that game is inside the cage and outside the cage."
Yep. And Dana called this long ago when Jon Jones, I about said Eugene, when Eugene won the title, but when Jon Jones beat Shogun, and Dana White was like, look, the kid's real test is coming now, and all these friendly people show up, and all these people with offers and party favors are hanging at his door, and Dana's seen it before. He watched Tito, carry the belt. He watched Chuck Liddell carry the belt. He's seen him come. He's seen him go, and he called it, and they've had their troubles with Jon Jones. The DWI in 2012 should have been a red flag. The cocaine test definitely should have. I mean, at least a yellow flag. But he was reading these things as checkered flags, and just.
Also, all of life's troubles are fucking rhythmic. You can make late course adjustments, like I myself was arrested in 1980 or was it 81 for false information to a police officer. And the clever thing they do is they say, okay, released on your own recognizance, but you're on probation for whatever, 2 years. If you don't get in any trouble, you're fine. Most people maybe like me at that point go, I just got to hold it down for 2 years just to get outside the shadow of this bullshit thing that they've created to keep you in the system, Easy enough to do. Easy enough to do. Don't get caught. Easy enough to do.
For some people, but
it's a thin ice thing, and he obviously just took no precautions for it.
Yep. But like I said, I don't think this is a bad, terrible thing at all. I think it's good for the division. Ultimately, I think it's good. It's the UFC has taken lemons, made some fucking lemonade. They're tough on crime. They send a good message to the outside, send a good message to the fighters, and Jon Jones actually has a chance to redeem himself in a way that could pay itself back in spades if he's not a complete fucking moron, also known as a guy with a serious problem. In this instance.
See, the UFC should hold a light heavyweight tournament right now. To me, that would be the best possible solution.
That would be great.
That would be great.
Yeah, because now you have an opportunity to move the spotlight, the very big spotlight that had been on one guy, and spread it out through the division in a way that and everybody knows he's coming back. So your setup is eventually for that return fucking fight. I'm seeing if Rumble's got it would be nice if Rumble won it, because in 6 months down the road, then you got the fight that people still really want to see. And I'm not convinced they want to see him fight Gustafsson more than they want to see him fight Rumble.
Not after what Rumble did to Gustafsson.
Yep.
I think not. But let's try again to segue to Mayweather Pacquiao. Do we even care at this point? Like, are we also enraptured with Jon Jones? Or are we going to be able to get pumped about Mayweather Pacquiao? Is this a fight MMA fans need to see, or is this
Mayweather Pacquiao is Couture versus Fedor? That fight was right on the edge of being insignificant anyway. But we had that last hope that maybe it was going to happen, and then when Finkelstein and the Baldwin couldn't get it together, then we're like, fuck you guys, and we lost interest. Mayweather pushed it right up to the line, and now people are still interested enough that they're paying $5,000 for seats or whatever the hell it is. But you know what? For those of us who are casual about boxing, I'm mildly interested, but I'm not. I'm probably still going to go to Tango versus actually busting my ass to see the fight.
I see. Going to Tango instead.
Well, I'm going to watch if the fight ends early enough and I can go to the Tango party. I'm going to the Tango party, but
What's the Tango party?
He dances tango, like the romantic Latin dance.
Do you really?
Yeah. Oh, it's intense, man. Yeah.
What doesn't he do? What doesn't he do?
I don't make money. That's what I don't do.
How about a little demonstration? You're in the gym right now. Just give us a little.
Can you grab Sorrel and just?
Yeah. Sorrel somehow disappeared today. One of the things you train, they give you a big metal pipe. You wouldn't think, and so you put one arm here and you put the metal pipe across. It's about a 5-foot metal pipe, and it's weighted, so it's really heavy. And then you put your other arm up like this, and then you adjust your posture with this kind of leaning forward thing, and you walk around the room, man. You're drenched with sweat in like 10 minutes. It's intense. It's a tough dance, you know.
Hmm.
And I
The
like the fact
ladies.
that you can't be forced to do it. Like, if you go to a rave club, people could force you onto the dance floor because, it's not formalized dancing. But only people who know how to tango dance tango. And you can only do it at a tango place. So it's easy to avoid, if you know what I mean.
I see, and that's what we're all looking for. All right, so Dallas, what's your take on Mayweather Pacquiao? And don't give me, you've got tango lessons too.
I've never been too much of a boxing fan. I mean, I like it, I appreciate it. Like I grew up in the Tyson era, was all over that. It was impossible not to be bewildered by Mike Tyson. Not only just the way he boxed, because I had watched, Hagler, Leonard, and to see Tyson come in, that was like a street fight. That's why people log on to YouTube and watch World Star shit. And that Mike Tyson brought that professionally, to the ring.
It had that intensity, that unbridled terror,
That
the
cocaine-fueled intensity.
the no socks, the no bathrobe, the no bullshit. This guy, he was just scary. Even when he was pretending to be a good citizen, he still
You
just
were
had
always the
that
second
vibe.
or two away from Hiroshima when Tyson was in the ring, and that's anticipation. Combat sports is all about anticipation, whether it's before the fight, when a big fight is announced, and then will it finally live up to that? So, I mean, this will be a good fight. I'm not going to pay anything to watch it. Um, I'm from Floyd's hometown. He's from here in Grand Rapids, and um, from just seeing him out and other people that have seen him out, he does have a reputation of being kind of a dickhead, but I don't care about any of that. He's a great boxer. His defense is phenomenal. Possibly the best defense in boxing history. Is that too bold?
I don't think so. I think it is a well-earned rep. But also, that's his Achilles heel. That's why people hate him so much. Like, nobody likes a great pitcher. Nobody likes a great defense man. People like offense.
You know
And
why I love Mayweather? Because I'm not totally disinterested. I want to see the fight if I cannot interfere with Tango. I love Mayweather because of his fractious relationship with Floyd Mayweather Sr. And any guy who hates his father, like I hate my father, can't be all that bad. In actual fact, he did what I would love to do: keep Dad on a short leash, keep him around. Now, Shaquille O'Neal, when his father came back and just like, he was like, fuck you, and then wrote a hip hop song about it and then went about his business. But Mayweather kept him around. Hey, Dad, I'm kind of thirsty. You want to get me a soda?
How
Yeah.
sorry are you? Because I'm fucking thirsty right
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
Yeah.
right, exactly. You want to hang around, huh?
I'm
Fuck,
tap
man, that's it.
parched, Dad.
Any angry son's dream, that's it. I mean, I said once to my mother, we were arguing about something, and she said, and she's jawing at me, and I go, "Who's gonna take care of you when you get older?" And
Oh, that's
you
cold.
could see a shock of realization go through, and then she promptly married a guy who was like 20 years younger than her. He's like, "Fuck you, son. Do not trust you now."
I'll admit I
So that
blackmailed my
Mayweather kept
mom
his
for.
dad around, man, that's the best show in town.
I
I
use
see.
the "who's gonna take care of you in the future" to blackmail my mom for like cookies and chocolate every once in a while. But it's
You got
kind
to
of
go
a
bigger than cookies and chocolate, man.
cookies and chocolate go a long way with me.
Yeah,
I
that's
see.
true. That's true.
Well, but what about Mayweather being a complete, like, convicted wife beater? Like, the guy is a completely despicable person outside the cage. And he punched, what, T.I. or Lil Wayne? Like,
I thought he punched the Bieber, didn't he?
no, he
No.
didn't punch Bieber. They're pals.
Yeah.
He got in a
That
fight in a
actually is his
McDonald's or something with him.
the worst crime. Out of the things he's done, I mean, I don't like guys who hit women at all. But second to the guys who hit women thing, hanging out with Justin Bieber, man, that's just fucking. First of all, it's creepy when any grown man hangs around with 19-year-old boys anyway. I
Well,
don't
maybe
give a
they're on the
shit,
same
man.
level. Like, they're just young, young,
No, no,
rich,
no, no,
famous
I don't,
guys.
man. It smacks of the Boy Scout leader and shit. Come sit next to me, Justin. Wow. Look, Michael Jackson and the Jesus Juice. Come on, man. It weirds me out. I don't. I train with 19-year-old guys, but I'm not hanging out with them.
I
So
see, I see, I see. And Dallas, what's your take on the scumbaggery of Floyd Mayweather?
Kind of like everything else. I mean, from what standpoint? Like, if we want to sit here and have like a human morality, yes, all that is wrong. But as far as like some dude that's getting paid silly to fight on TV. Yeah, I don't know. I don't give a shit really. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, it's wrong. He shouldn't do that. It just kind of adds to his aura a little bit. And like
Also,
you said, he's not wildly offensive, so it's just another reason for a big faction to dislike him, which in the end just makes more anticipation.
let's talk about the scumbaggishness of a Pacquiao.
Yes, he's
The
let's see.
scumbaggishness is ideological,
Yeah,
With
right-wing Christian homophobic style.
yep, that's where I'm going. So
Some people love that.
That
Some
freaks
people.
me out.
that's some people. Some people love Nazism. Bing, got it in. Got it in. 30 minutes in, got the Nazis in.
Look, I just like the red, black, and white color scheme and the leather boots. I mean,
Some girl. I was dating this girl,
and
and she
lightning
said,
bolts. Who doesn't like lightning bolts and skulls?
hey, what was that British comedy troupe? Did you ever look that up? Are we the baddies? This British I can't Mitchell and something or other, and he's playing SS men. He's like, one guy says to another, "Are we the baddies?" What do you mean? He goes, "We've got skulls on our hats." Yeah, but that's just to show we've got. And they look around the campfire. One guy's knitting a skull, fucking skull coffee cup. Man, I think we could be the bad guys here.
So, who is the bad guy with Mayweather Pacquiao? Pacquiao's
Well,
also had
they're
tax
bad
problems.
guys they're bad guys in different ways, man. I mean, I have no patience at all for this fucking doctrinaire, ideological homophobia. I don't.
You don't even cut him some slack though from coming from the Philippines, which is in a very different cultural situation. I mean, you're not looking back at Jake LaMotta or Rocky Marciano and going, "Where were these guys on civil rights in the '50s?" I mean, they were ignorant bigots of their time. Like,
Where are you
But
going
it
with?
was
How do you?
okay to be an ignorant bigot back then, wasn't it? Like,
But I mean, is it okay to be an ignorant bigot in the Philippines?
Did you
Not
just
Duane's going to
did
be
you
pissed
just
at me for
did
this,
you
but
just smear the Rockies? How do you know they were ignorant bigots?
because I've heard him talk, Eugene.
And you've heard them say things that were ignorant and bigoted.
No. Okay,
Rocky
Rocky Marciano died young, so he didn't do a lot of interviews and all that stuff. But I definitely have
Graziano?
Jake LaMotta said a lot of racist shit. Like, that's pretty well documented.
So did Harry S. Truman.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like in their time and place, they weren't like especially outliers. And is Pacquiao especially conservative for where he comes from?
So you say that the Philippines is behind the times.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think
And the
there's
little
anything
mud
controversial
huts, the
about
little
that.
brown people
No,
in the mud huts.
but I mean, like, look where America was in the '90s
Yeah.
as far as homophobia.
Bloody
I
Elbow
mean,
staff writer Anton Tabuena is way ahead of the times.
he is way ahead of the times, but there's exceptional people, and he's also an international jet setter. Where's Anton today? I believe he's in Spain gallivanting around. So it's not like he's your average, rural Filipino like Pacquiao is. I mean,
The
Pacquiao's known
average
for the big
rural
cities.
Filipino multi-millionaire.
Well, that's where he is now, but his background is
Senator.
not exactly, the hoi polloi. I mean, he's not a Boston Brahmin or anything. He's not even part of the ruling class of the Philippines. He's a working class guy from a very poor country and a very conservative Catholic country. Like, I don't, I'm willing to
Isn't that
cut
what it's all about, though? Like, it doesn't really matter what your preconceived notions were. Like, if a guy and a guy want to be together and a girl and the girl want to be together, it's,
Got nothing to do with me.
Well, that's where we are in all this, but and other people in other countries and other religions view it in a very different way, and so
Fuck that.
Well, I mean,
Excellent.
How do you like that
That's the kind of
well-reasoned
back and forth
debate?
interaction I like here.
I just
Other
don't.
people in the fuck that.
To me,
Eddie
it's
Murphy
like
style.
way down on the list of things that I'm worried about with Pacquiao, like his stupid political opinions, like whatever, okay, so the guy's a conservative reactionary. I mean,
I got an example. Could you be a fighter in the UFC and spit that shit?
it would
Like
be more
Josh
difficult.
Thompson, sanctioned.
Yeah, they slapped him down for that. But the UFC is a very different situation. Boxing is much more fighter controlled than the UFC is. UFC, they're under the thumb of a promoter with a near monopoly. So, maybe that's a
And
virtue
Bob
for
Arum
UFC.
did say something about MMA being full of homos with tattoos.
Yes, yes. So you know, it's
Fucking Bob Arum. What century is he in where he thought he was like nobody was going
Well,
to
you can
notice?
look at Bob Arum and tell what century
Yeah.
he's in. It's
And you
not
know,
the
after he
21st
said that, he
century.
said to himself, he was like, "Burned,
Yeah.
burn
Now that
those,
colored boy.
burn those."
Now that colored boy. He's a fighter. That colored boy. What? What? What do you mean? You know, I used to date some chick at Stanford whose father was a sociology professor, and I'm over at dinner, and he's like, "Well, you know, the wetbacks."
Donna Shalala, but it's a good one. But I got a Donna
I bet
Shalala.
Dallas hasn't heard it.
It's true. Most of the audience, some of the audience doesn't even know who Donna Shalala is or the origin of the Donna Shalala story. So we need to do it more often. That's what
Yes. Anyways, so I figured I didn't hear him just say wetback.
You rolling over a Donna Shalala? The magic power of the Donna Shalala is
Dallas
gone.
sanctioned it.
Since when is this a democracy?
Since
he's
I
a
got a
short
stop
timer.
broadcast button in front of me. That's what it became.
Yeah, I know why you like it. Now,
Management controlled
No,
facility.
now I'm wounded. Now I'm wounded. I'm not going to finish the story. Forget
I
it.
see. Well, we've heard the story before. That's all I'm trying to get to. So,
Okay.
but I mean, really, like, look, everybody's willing to give Mayweather a pass on wife beating, but some homophobia has got you not liking
He
Pacquiao.
served his jail time for the wife beating.
Yeah, when you mean give him a pass, it's not like you're at a point where you either have to love him or hate him. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people respect him, but aren't so thrilled
Right.
about the.
Well, some people can choose not to give him their money, you know, and so. I don't know. I mean, to me, it's like this is barbarism. This is socially sanctioned barbarism.
I gotta answer a phone. Sorry, go ahead. 1 second. Go
All
ahead.
right. So Eugene has to take a call, maybe a big call from Aussie.com. But I don't know.
Yes.
First tank.
Yeah.
Who would you be rooting for between Pacquiao and Mayweather? To me, it's like clearly Pacquiao.
I would
Yes,
probably
yes,
root for Pacquiao, at least just to make it interesting and
We're
exciting. But I
home
think
with the
Floyd's,
gates open, and you
he's
can
so
go dispatch
solid.
the unit.
You know
It's
what I
open
mean?
as well.
Yeah, I can. Eugene, you're talking over. Eugene is
Let's
taking
just
his phone
eavesdrop.
call.
Let's
Yes,
just
you may.
eavesdrop on his call
Both gates are unlocked.
Both gates are unlocked. Can we get an address?
to his palatial estate.
Yes, somebody is home, but you don't need to bother them. The unit in the
Just
back.
go on in.
Bother them.
Everybody heard. Now all we need is the address.
Okay, so
To
you
bother
drive down the.
We've got 45 viewers here. They're all dying to go to
Knock on the
Eugene's
door,
house
the
and go
white
in the
door.
gate. Knock on the door. Just go on in.
Wait.
Don't bother the people at home.
We're missing all the good stuff right now. This guy, there's a
Okay.
backline.
He's wrapping it up, but we should.
It's an amicable ending. It's too bad.
No, it is open.
It is too bad. It's too
Both
bad.
gates are open, motherfucker. Who
Go
is this?
right
I've
on
had it.
in. Don't bother the people that are home. Just get in there and steal all Eugene's stuff.
Someone's there, but there's no need to bother them.
In front of the
Let's
white
get the
door
next
that you
story
need to
here.
go
This
into.
has all of a sudden become the bright spot of the show.
Becoming much
have
more
to walk
interesting
around
than
it.
Mayweather
Walk-
Pacquiao. But so you're rooting for
You see
Pacquiao
it?
just because he's an underdog. Is that what you're? They're
just
actually
because
there.
I
Okay.
think everyone's expecting Mayweather to win. What are the betting lines on this?
No. Somebody has
gotta
to
be
hold it
Mayweather.
while you're
But
back.
the
I can't
knockout.
hear you, so I want to just go back to eavesdropping on Eugene's call.
I think we're gonna have to because it wouldn't be one of our
No.
shows without a fiasco like this.
That's why I
Just-
put.
like
That's
there's
why
a
I put the
Modern
rock
Family
there.
episode where the phone rings in a big
Okay.
crowd, the family's all
Bye-bye.
talking, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, that's rude." And then he takes like 2 paces and starts talking on his phone.
Sorry, man. Sorry.
That's all right. We listened to your call because we couldn't hear anything else.
I'm
Good
sorry,
idea.
man. These guys are fucking idiots. I've been trying to get them to come to the house and do some work, and it's like if they can't, like they hang up in 1 second and then they, fuck it. Sorry.
Both gates are open.
I see both gates are
Both
open.
gates
Come
are
on
open,
in.
man.
So all we need now is your address, Eugene. Just like
Yeah, both gates are open, but somebody's inside with a gun.
I see.
That's
Is it a valuable gun? Is it a How many and where are they? Yeah. Our viewers want to know. I mean, we just dropped from 45 viewers to 36 viewers thanks to that fiasco. So,
Hey, man. Hey. I gotta live life. I should have muted myself. Sorry.
yeah, you should have. But anyway, now the question I was trying to ask Dallas was, so both these guys are assholes according to our
Informal
liberal-
survey.
Huh? What?
Informal survey. Now,
Yes.
the fact that they're both assholes, I still like them.
But who are you going to root for between the two, Pacquiao or Mayweather?
Well, you set that up, juxtaposed next to the asshole question. You made it seem like it's a personality thing. You're talking about skills now, right?
No, who are you rooting for? I didn't say who you're picking.
Oh, see, that's a clever distinction.
That's 101. Come on, you went to Stanford.
You know what? I am so embittered about how much they're making, both of them, that it's really interfering with my ability to root for either of them.
Wow.
It's like when I found out how much Tom Cruise makes a movie, and I'm just sitting there.
I quit Scientology right there.
Yeah, everyone. I'm just the whole movie. I'm like, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I can't
My
believe
next
it.
auditing session, it was all like anytime the number of 36 million came up, bing, you know, I mean, it was like.
Hey, I don't know if you saw that movie, A Most Violent Year. Have you seen it yet?
I have not.
Oh, it's great. It's great. And the main
Oh,
guy.
I saw that movie. I hated that movie. I saw that movie. I totally hated that movie.
Why?
It was
this
a
like a
baby switch.
1960s?
No, it came out last year. It came out last year. I hated it mostly because my wife and I get to see about 4 movies a year. So, like, I like it to be like, it needs to be fucking good, okay? You know, and not one.
Which this movie was.
No, that movie threatened to be sort of a gritty noir business on the edge of crime drama thing that then never panned out into anything other than some dude whining a lot. Like,
you know what? You know, there are movies for guys like you, and they all star Jason Statham. Okay, so
I did love Snatch. I gotta admit, but
Snatch was a good movie.
That doesn't even qualify as a Statham movie anymore, though.
Yeah, I mean that's how out of touch I am. I like that movie with that dude that was based on the Thomas Pynchon, the Paul Thomas Anderson movie that came out.
Oh, Inherent Vice.
Inherent Vice. Now
that was terrible.
You didn't like that? That was a fucking great movie. But let's get back to Mayweather Pacquiao. So you were trying to make some point about Mayweather Pacquiao, wandered off into this execrable, vile movie. And and it's actually because it's not vile.
Wait. Execrable?
Execrable.
You just gave that to me.
You made it up out of thin air.
Execrable, Englishly speaking. This is what state schools do to you, boys and girls.
Listen, you elitist. Are you going to take that, Dallas?
It's you, buddy. You mispronounced it. Now you must live with it.
I didn't mispronounce it. I said executable.
I'm not even going to help you with this.
On Nate's diction. And it's good. This is my last show, so you say the word human right now.
Me?
Yes.
Human.
That's not how you say it on the show. Say huge. It's Y. You say huge.
I'm from Texas. We don't say our H's, okay?
But
it's Houston.
How do you say, like, God, that guy is hairy? You don't say Yeri, do you?
What the fuck? Like, the H, the U. You just say the U. You don't need the H with the U.
Yeah, I like walking all over Kid Nate as a pastime.
You'll see if you ever get your check.
Speaking of which,
I emailed the corporate people and CC'd you, so out of my hands. Hands are washed.
Oh, I've heard somebody say that before.
Which?
I think it was 1943.
Oh, now I'm Schindler's. I mean, not even Schindler's List. Now I'm Eichmann. All right. But back to Mayweather Pacquiao.
No, for me, it's hard to, let's see, am I going to root for the multimillionaire or am I going to root for the multimillionaire? At the end of the day, I'm broke. And these guys, it doesn't, I'm tired of being a plaything for the rich. That's it.
I see. So that's why you're on the streets of Baltimore.
Yeah. If I, you know what? I've been through 3 riots, and I've noted that when I've been at a riot, that I've been ignored by the rioters and the police, so much so that I start to doubt the very nature of my existence. That like I had some cone of invisibility around me, because rioting is about vibe, and if you don't have the riot vibe, you're a tree, you're a parking meter, you're part of the scenery. You're not chased or being chasing. So I think I feel comfortable calling it an insurrection.
I see.
Can you list your 3 riots on your resume?
San Jose Civic Auditorium, police riot.
Punk rock related.
Yeah, my riots have been mostly punk rock riots, with the exception of the blackout in New York, which was 1977, I believe. Yeah. Interrupted my viewing of Beretta.
Man, and those were some good shows. Robert Blake. Is Robert Blake innocent or guilty?
Guilty as sin.
Acquitted. Let's call it what it is. Acquitted.
He's no Jon Jones.
He was way guiltier to me than Phil Spector, and yet look who's in jail.
Again, it's for the same fucking reason. You know,
Because Spector wore wigs to court?
No, because people are looking at the periodicity of your crimes. If you
Periodicity.
Is that even a word?
It is a word. False information to a police officer in 1980 or 81, no criminal involvement, not even a fucking ticket since then. This is a guy who's all right. This is a guy who's living right. You look at, he stumbled maybe, but you know, you got the boom, the boom, the boom, boom, boom.
You're referring to yourself, of course.
Then that's it. Yeah, you could feel the rhythm.
Clears himself. Clears himself. Damn it, I see this. All right.
Spector had to go. Spector had to go.
For just
he didn't help himself. He didn't help himself with the wigs in court either.
And not admitting there were wigs. That was the other thing. Like, the American people wanted to hear this guy admit he was bald. Like,
It goes back to the Bruce Jenner thing, transparency.
yes.
Yeah.
Come clean. All right. So we can't get a straight answer out of Eugene, but that's nothing to do.
I'm rooting for neither of these guys. Fuck them. Why'd they lend me some money? If they
All
would
right.
have lent me some money, then I'd have a feeling about this.
All right.
Yeah, you evil
Dallas,
tyrant. Why do we have to root for someone? I'll just watch the fight. I don't.
You're just watching the fight and rooting for Cass. I'm rooting for Manny, goddammit. The underdog, the little guy, the guy with some offense, some spunk.
What are the betting odds on this?
I told you I don't want to look him up. I mean, come on. You're making me work here.
I'll look it up, Nate.
I'm looking it up.
You take it
just
easy,
take a
Nate.
break.
Let's take it easy. I know it's tough, not mailing out checks and all.
That's not even my department.
Yeah, I know.
That's what all bosses say.
I'm just running the trains. That's all. Got nothing to do with where they end up. Yes, I did just compare Nate to Adolf Eichmann.
Yes, and you know I'm not that organized. Come on. I mean,
That's
nobody
true.
would have made it there on time if I'd been running the trains. That's all right. So let's.
Well,
see.
that's why you don't hear too much about Italian concentration camps.
I can't
You
let you
have
get away
to
with that kind of
lock the
racist
gates.
remark.
Giuseppe, lock the gates. What?
Floyd's minus 210, Manny's plus 170.
Yep. So I mean, I'm rooting for the little guy, the underdog.
Oh, the multi-millionaire underdog.
Hey, he's had tax troubles. The IRS won't get. I mean, the
So have I.
Filipino equivalent of the IRS won't get off his back. We turned in our W-9s or whatever, W-2s. It's on you, Mr. Robinson. We can't help you with that. So, who do you think is going to win the fight?
Floyd.
Yeah.
Floyd? Yeah, I think so too. My wife was asking me about that this morning, and I was like, I'm pretty much afraid Floyd's going to win. I mean, I can paint a little sandcastle and get myself sort of excited that I think Manny has a chance, but that's the thing I never understood about Mayweather ducking Pacquiao all these years, and I think we can agree that's what was going on.
Yep.
Is that Pacquiao's style is tailor-made to make Floyd look great. Like, you got an aggressive guy, perfect for a counterpuncher who's faster and bigger to beat him. I mean, what the fuck? What is wrong with Floyd Mayweather that he had to duck this fight for 5 years?
Well, the question is, does Mayweather does he retire after this? 'Cause it's
Yes,
clear,
he's making noise about it.
it's clear that he's lost his enthusiasm for fighting.
He might as well, too. Go out on top.
Yeah. I mean, he's got hip hop records to make.
With Justin Bieber.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Pacquiao's hand speed might make this a little interesting, and because he's so aggressive, there's always that chance that he can, even if he lands a big glancing blow, the crowd's going to go nuts. I think
And he's got God on his side, right?
Yeah.
this is co-pilot.
The crowd's going to go nuts. The crowd's going to go, wow, I'm glad I spent $5,000
Don't you
for
think that
this.
the fact that this is going to be not a boxing crowd at all, it's going to be like the elite 1% of assholes, like, I mean, like the
Anthony Kiedis.
Anthony Kiedis can't afford this, man.
Oh, I think he can.
Well, he could, if I was his financial advisor, I would tell him not. Anthony Kiedis is not in the income bracket to be buying tickets to this.
Yes, he is. I think you'd be very wrong about that.
He hasn't had a hit in years.
He
They
doesn't
just
need
played
one.
the Super Bowl, man, 2 years ago.
Okay, so maybe he's in the, yeah. All right, so kill Anthony Kiedis when the revolution comes.
And plus, he's got to have a seat for his 22-year-old girlfriend. So
Did you see the Rolling Stone bodyguards beat the crap out of Anthony Kiedis'
Oh, did I
bodyguards?
see it? I didn't stop seeing it. It was like the Danzig knockout video. I had that on repeat in a little window on my computer for about a week. And then I interviewed Danny Marinaro for some article for Decibel magazine about it. It was just great to keep it alive, keep the dream alive.
Was pretty glorious. Although it was sad that they only beat up his bodyguards and not him or his girlfriend. But can't have everything.
Well,
But the point I was trying to make is this is not a boxing crowd. It's not going to be filled with bloodthirsty, working class savages. It's the effete of the effete, the elite of the elite, a bunch of poncy, spoiled, pampered, people that are going to be taking selfies with their fancy cell phones and.
Did you say the effete of the effete?
I did. The effete of the effete and the elite of the elite. I liked it.
that's nice. That works for me. That's actually
Yeah,
not
yeah.
redeeming yourself for your mispronunciation before, but close.
Uh-huh. And then Dallas had to go regional. Like, do you know how many Texans are watching the show? Like, you're going to malign a whole region of the country over how we say huge and human and Houston? That's how it's pronounced.
Aren't you generalizing like all of Texas speaks like that?
I got
Come
you.
to
Checkmate.
Texas and see how many people actually say Houston. Nobody. We're too busy.
I would pay
You know,
just to have that.
I don't think
thing again.
I think I've actually had a good time in Texas at times.
I've had lots of great times in Texas.
I had one incident at the when I was staying with the Butthole Surfers, but that was not their
Well,
fault.
doesn't staying with the Butthole Surfers kind of clue you in?
No. It's just like, you can sleep here on this floor. Great. Bunk down on the floor, and as I'm laying down, I go, oh, ants. I don't even think about it. I'm not fucking with the ants. The ants are not going to fuck with me. And I wake up with my body aflame.
Yeah, they're called fire ants, and
Yeah.
you don't lie down in a pile of them.
Where I learned a lesson.
And Gibby was probably pouring honey all over your sleeping body as you.
No, I think it was actually Paul's house, if I remember correctly. Paul
Was
Barber.
this out in the country?
Yeah, it was.
That was their shared communal place, I believe. My exposure was limited. I was once there when somebody was trying to sell a soundboard to Willie Nelson, and
Oh.
yes, it was, yeah, and then they were telling stories of how Merle Haggard had been asking him for X. So it was.
That's the thing about these old country guys, old R&B guys, man.
You got any of that X, son?
Yeah,
I did that shit, man. It was good stuff. You got any of that?
What about Sammy the Bull Gravano? In jail? What? I'm dealing X.
He was like the ex-king of Arizona. And his wife and kids were running it. It was
Yep.
there must have been no professional criminal talent.
Well, you know what he said? I don't know if you've read his book, Underboss. Great book and a must-read. But he just, this guy,
Every page smelled of snitch.
oh, get out of here. Get out of
Come
here.
on. You can't
No.
it's that kind of cold-blooded murdering, telling my side of the story. It was all excuse-making and blaming other people and
No, there was one part that I liked when he just described being, he said, I was in a frenzy of felony. His day, like a wild animal, his day began and ended with stealing. He was like, that's how he became a top earner. He's like, Jesus Christ. Let me mute you guys. Sorry,
yes,
go.
mute us. All right, so Dallas, I don't even know where we go from here because Eugene had derailed us into a complete and he
Wait,
didn't manage
yes,
to
he did.
successfully mute.
Did he?
No, he didn't actually mute. It's we've given ourselves
sorry,
a great
I
latitude
don't
here
understand
on
your
our
question. Say it
network
again?
of just being completely unprofessional, and yet dozens of people spend valuable time.
I don't
know about valuable time.
Everything they delivered is all that's there. I didn't move anything.
I'm interested to hear this is the same people.
I think it
And
is. He
last
says he
time-
didn't move anything.
Our viewer count plummeted by 10. I'm watching it with a.
Yeah, with the keen eye. Well, I think part of that might have been the transition from Jones to Pacquiao. I think that.
All of what Home Depot sent to you is right there.
It is the same people.
It is.
That's all.
Yeah, this is a very difficult delivery. He's trying to.
Oh,
He
now
managed to
muted
mute
us.
us.
I'd rather he plugged us in on the call.
Yeah, well, we can't have everything. Okay, let's try to salvage the show. And now he's back. He muted us just in time to hang up the phone. And now, is he
He's
gonna?
still muted. Tell us the story. Okay, he's back.
He's
Sorry.
back. You know, you managed to mute that like the last 10 seconds.
Was that the same people?
Same guy,
It
man.
was. So what are you having delivered? Like
They're putting in a floor.
a floor. So like some, like a thin roll of fake wood, or what do you get?
Well,
Some stone?
laminate. I can't afford more than laminate. You see.
I see. I see. I
So
see.
the best part about it is it has to be on the job site 3 days before, and then they tell you something that's creepy. They say we're gonna bring it to the job site 3 days before. It has to sit there. Whatever you do, don't open it. I mean, this is Pandora, man. I've been in that unit every day. I go back and I look, and it's like, don't know what happens if I open it,
Yeah, shouldn't it be off gassing? I think you need to open it so it can off gas.
Nah.
Be safe.
Do not open it.
Do not open it. Huh. That's a tough one.
Yep.
I'd have to open it.
Yeah,
Eugene,
no,
you need to get over there and open it right now on camera.
No. I resisted. The guy was like saying there's stuff missing. It's like, hey, talk to your company. I don't have a handle on this. So anyway, I'm not rooting for either of these guys. I think Floyd is going to win. If we're going to do it like a care, don't care preview and break it down, I am paying $0 for this fight. And that's how, I'm a boxing fan. I'll be glad to watch it. But I think I'm being stage managed into, it just feels like a sucker move to me. It feels like a sucker move, a sucker fight for suckers. The audience will be full of suckers, and I'm just not buying it. 5 years ago, I would have bought it, Like I'm saying.
Ixnay, we're selling it, Eugene. This is the biggest payday Esprit Nation's Combat's having.
Like I said, this is the biggest pay. I'm watching it. I'm completely into it. Thumbs up from me,
Excellent. That's what we want to hear. Like, drop everything, watch the fight, and click on Bloody Elbow, click on Bad Left Hook, click on Esprit Nation. Be clicking, and watch the videos.
The best thing about boxing is that you could just, as an MMA guy, you could just go off on boxers, and what are they going to do? I could jump up and start, Mayweather, kiss my ass. Mayweather, what? I see the guy in the lobby at the MGM. What's he going to do?
For one thing, these guys are my size. And for another thing, yeah, they can't kick or take down. So,
Yep.
But, like, it's, I don't know. They're all scary to me. Because he's got bodyguards and guns. And, like, Mayweather would fuck you up, Eugene. He's got squadrons, phalanxes of goons.
You know what? I would be happy to have Mayweather fuck me up. I would
that would be the
immediately fall on
lawsuit
the
that would
ground,
make you.
hysterical blindness, and I'm riding that straight into a Rolls Royce.
Which you can then drive into a stop sign in Binghamton, New York.
And then wander off because I was disoriented.
I see. Well, Eugene, you need to check your email as soon as the show's over because you've got an email from Vox Rider Care that says your check was direct deposited on 4/15.
Oh,
So,
4/15, huh?
so
Maybe it was such a small amount that I didn't notice.
that's neither here nor there. Negotiations were finalized some time
That's
ago.
the most submissive I've ever heard Eugene right there. He was direct deposited 415.
Hey, you know what? There's a well-known publication asked me yesterday to write a piece on Jon Jones on the basis of the fact that I interviewed him, that I interviewed Malky, and I had some insight. And I go, great. How many words? 1,200 words. When do you need it? Immediately. Great. How much are you going to pay me?
Pay you?
No, they offered pay $50 less than the standard fee that they usually. And I go, what happened to the $50? Well, the other pieces you do require travel and actual interviews. This is more of an editorial piece. The other pieces require, some of your soul. And I go, and this requires soul, brains, and the fact that I've actually exploiting my contact with the man for your gain. And the guy goes, yes, but I'm not a billionaire concern, and I have to watch my budget. And then I quoted back to him, I'm not a billionaire concern, and I have to watch my budget. I go, no hard feelings, man, but we're really talking about $50 fucking here. And he's like, no can do. And I was like, no can do. Good luck to you.
Man, that is some weak sauce. And I'm a cheapskate with a low budget, and I wouldn't. Have I ever pulled anything on you like that? Of course not. I'm great to deal with. That's you're off message, Eugene.
Yet. See, by mentioning yet a couple of times, I underscore what I believe is the inevitability of this happening.
Hey, I mean, every good thing must come to an end. We all have our, Waterloo. We all have our Albuquerque intersections someday.
No, you know
Just
what was significant about the Albuquerque intersection is that, in a wide philosophical sense, this was the final Albuquerque intersection, you hope. You know?
yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
had many intersection moments. He had the cocaine test. He had the DUI. He had ones that we probably don't even know about,
I'm sure. I'm sure. And how long before the Greg Jackson camp starts talking? Like,
No.
you don't think there's going to be mouths and
Nah,
lips running there?
they're way too smart. If what they should do
I'm not talking
now,
about Jackson and Winklejohn. I'm talking about the other fighters at the camp.
no. If they're smart, what they do is cleave onto this guy. This guy is 27 years old, man. You know.
Circle the wagons, stick with him.
How old is Rampage?
A lot older than that. He's 38, I think.
Yep. So this is not a guy who, lots and lots of things. He'd have to kill somebody in prison now for things to go much worse, and that's not outside the realm of possibility. But
No. Like, I mean, in the prison ecosystem, Jones is going to be a target, but he's also a very scary target.
well, and also it's easy. It's I mean, he's a polite guy. Loudmouths get served in prison. He's a polite guy. I would think if
In Mexico, the prison system's overwhelmingly Hispanic.
Oh,
Second, Native Americans. Very, very few black people. Like, now this is a long time ago, so I'm sure it's completely outdated. But in the 1980 Santa Fe prison riot, and if you're into prison riots, that is the most horrific prison riot in the U.S. to my knowledge.
Yeah.
But the black prisoners were huddled in the corner.
Yeah, that's why I forget. There's this fractious relationship in the what did we call it?
Southwest.
In the Southwest between Latinos and African Americans. It doesn't exist in other places,
Yeah,
I
well,
mean,
because the Latinos have the edge all the way.
but it doesn't matter. Like if you go like my relationships with Puerto Ricans were fairly convivial because there's so many fucking black Puerto Ricans in Puerto Rico, So
Yeah,
it wasn't,
yeah.
or black Cubans, or Dominican Republic, black Panamanians.
There's not many black people in New Mexico.
Certainly not ones that speak Spanish. Yeah.
No. They're like gringos that look different. And
Yep.
so anyway, so that'll be interesting for him to navigate because the New Mexico prison system.
Well, this is if he goes. If he gets himself
I don't think he will.
If he gets himself a real lawyer, he shouldn't be going.
No, this should at most be a month or so of jail time, not even prison time.
The fact that the UFC has not hustled, that Matt Hughes hasn't picked up a phone and hustled out a UFC attorney. Matt Hughes is like sitting around, what? Oh, man. Jon Jones somebody should do, somebody should, you mean me? All right. No, it's too late, man. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So anyway, well,
now, let me ask Chuck what I should do. Now he's on his Game Boy. Hold on.
Yeah, I figured that Chuck and Matt have some pretty hot air hockey games going on in the Zuffa offices.
Seriously, what are these guys doing, man? What are they doing?
They're drawing paychecks. They're out to pasture, man. I mean, what was Seattle Slew doing for they're probably not engaged in a breeding program like the horses were, but other than that, they're out there in the sunny pastures eating grass.
Every 2 weeks,
getting
getting a
rub-downs.
paycheck.
Yeah.
Maybe we should get that kind of system going here at Bloody Elbow.
If you win several world titles for us, Eugene, guaranteed.
I've got several world titles.
Make us. We know about your world titles.
Don't start. I'm a world champion.
And a round of applause. But speaking of world champions, we're gonna miss Dallas Winston very much. He's helped us build the network, and it's a sad day. So
Dallas, let me tell you about that guy.
It's gonna be weird. And Nate, you're a great boss. I might as well air it. So.
Yeah. So you hear this, Eugene?
I appreciate it.
You hear this? Are you listening, Eugene?
I'm not believing it, but I'm hearing it.
I'm much more of a moron than you are, Eugene. So, like, with every task Nate gave me, he had to sit there and patiently, like, either handhold me through some stupid thing or explain to me why I did it totally wrong.
Yeah.
So, and
The
actually,
miracle of
like,
double entry accounting was a real revelation for Dallas. I gotta.
Well, you know, but
oh, good job.
Nate doesn't try to stretch me too much, so it's you know.
No, it's So it is what it is. But we're gonna miss Dallas. And remember, if you like this kind of stuff, we're gonna stumble on without Dallas and make the most of it. So give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Subscribe to MMANation.com on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at
You
Eugene S.
stumble on
Robertson.
without Dallas. I'm gonna text him at 2 or 3 in the morning just to let him know I'm not on drugs.
You keep it. You keep him up to date on your sobriety, Eugene.
Still not on drugs, man. It's 2 in the morning. I'm all right.
I look forward to it.
Yeah, turn off your ringer, Dallas. That's
As you know, I never have it on in the first place.
It's true.
He tries to resort. Oh, I'll call him on a cell phone. That's
Yeah. All right. So let's see. Follow us on Twitter at Kid Nate at Uncle Justice. Are you still going to be tweeting about MMA, Dallas? Can fans still?
I have no idea. I did for the first time. I mean, it's been like a couple years that I got to sit down and watch a UFC without doing play-by-play, and my play-by-play is like super hardcore. I do like 2 paragraphs per round.
Yeah, you're way over the line. I mean, like, I've gotten away with just something happened, blah blah, and then like anyway. But go.
I liked it when you filled in for me. I always had to make a note. That was Kid Nate right there. But seriously, doing that though took a lot of the. I never got to sit back, and that's at the heart and soul of MMA. It's 2 dudes throwing hands at each other in the cage, and I really didn't get to lay back and enjoy any of that. So I don't know. I imagine my interest and enthusiasm will go up.
Well, good. Well, hopefully, if keep an eye on Uncle Justice Twitter. That's all I'm saying. So because we'll tweet, and I don't think we're gonna have Connor Rubish, sorry, and Scott Christ are gonna have tons of previews and after the fight stuff for 13th round after Mayweather Pacquiao. So stay tuned to this channel for all that stuff. Read us on bloodyelbow.com, and I think that's it. So
I guess knuckle up on Monday.
Knuckle up on Monday. We'll have a knuckle up on Monday, but Eugene already told us he won't be watching the fight.
I did say I'm going to watch the fights, but I'm going to
report on
too.
his tango class. Don't miss knuckle up on Monday. That's yeah. So and read him at Aussie.com and go by his house because it's unlocked and nobody's home. So
the dog is home. Popeye is home.
We know how scary Popeye is. So that's nobody's worried about Popeye. All right, so yes, Eugene will have knuckle up, and then we're going to be rolling into what is it, Hunt versus Miocic? Is that the next UFC? So we'll have all the fixings for that next week. And adios MMA aficionados. We'll miss you, Dallas. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.